We did an offensive on France. It was not an invasion, because France had declared us a war, and we took later the initiative on the 10th of May 1940. Well, I must say, the first mission to me seemed to be very unimpressive. We attacked some ground target, and we didn't encounter any enemy resistance, no fighter pilots, no anti-aircraft. And so when I landed, I thought to myself, I asked myself, is that the war? But on the second or third mission, south of Sedan, my gunner, totally fresh and unexperienced, should have had a good look out. And I also was careless and was shot out of the squadron from below by a French fighter on an American fighter plane, Ford P-40. Well, it was a drama. The bullets were hitting my plane from underneath, between my legs, up to the instrumental panel. The instruments were flying away, and I saw the pedals, the steering pedals, the rim of it bending away from bullets, but I was not hit. Only my gunner got a shot through the lung and later on died. Well, I steeply went down, obviously with a tail from my motor, and so the French fighter didn't follow me. He thought obviously this is already finished, this plane. But I wasn't finished. My motor was, how do you say, grafting, standing. And with standing motor, I looked for a landing ground, but I was above the Ardennes, which is a mountainous forest. And there I squeezed myself into a steep, narrow valley. I don't know how I did it. It was a difficult landing, but I managed it very softly. And my gunner was yet speaking to me, and he wanted that I shot him, but I was not doing so. And then peasants were coming out from a village below with a wheelbarrow, and they put him onto the wheelbarrow. And we went down to the village, and there, on the way to the village, he was dying. And the peasants were very kind. I mean, they knew already that the German army was, within hours, was there, and so they behaved accordingly. And they dug a grave on my advice at a certain place in a fruit orchard on a gable of two roads. And there was a solemn burial. And while he was laid down, a woman stepped forward, and she took the hand into the soil and threw the soil onto him and said in French, "My son is with the Belgian forces. May he live on." And then I got a soup by the peasants, and then I disappeared. And while I disappeared in eastern direction up into a steep wooded forest, down on the road a motorcycle with a side van came. And I couldn't see if it was enemy or own troops. And the peasants were rushing to him and pointing into my direction. And I was hiding behind some bushes. And then from down from the two motorcyclists, who were of an advanced exploration unit, I heard the German words, "Come down, you idiot!" Then I understood these were my Germans. And yeah, and then I went down. Yeah, later on I had a task in Berlin. I had to fly from the Normandy, where we were stationed, to Berlin, and I laid my course over that place, and I saw the grave full of flowers illuminating up to me.